Every good computer needs a good chassis, and FiringSquad certainly sent me one of excellent quality, the Thermaltake Eureka Full Tower Server Case. Features include 2 120mm fans, one on the front and one for exhaust in the rear, a removable motherboard tray that supports up to Extend ATX form factor, 2 front USB 2.0 ports, AC97 compatible headphone and mic jacks, and the 1394 Firewire port. Screwless add-on card plate, 5 3.5-inch removable hard drive cages, a lockable front door, 5 5.25-inch bays with rails, and 2 3.5-inch bays that are front accessible in a cage, and pre-cut water tubing holes in the rear. The Eureka is of excellent build quality and finish. Even for a full tower, it is very big, yet surprisingly light due to its aluminum construction. Inside, you have ample room for multiple peripherals and water cooling setups, with little concern for kinks in the tubing. Cable management is also simpler with this much room on the interior. One of the more interesting features is the pre-cut holes for tubing on the rear of the case. The Eureka was certainly designed with water cooling setups in mind, and this feature should make the addition of a water setup easier for any enthusiast. One annoyance I noticed was that the hard drive cages come pre-coated with a lubricant that tends to get all over your hands, and by extension all over your hard drives. Other than that, the Thermaltake Eureka full tower case is certainly worth a glance, especially if you are interested in water cooling, but don't like the idea of drilling holes on your own. For the motherboard, FiringSquad chose to send the Gigabyte 965p DS3, revision 3.3. Features include socket 775 with CPU support for Pentium D, Core2 Duo, and the Core2 Extreme quad core. The DS3 uses the Intel 965 Northbridge and the ICH8 Southbridge. There are 6 serial ATA2 ports, with 2 capable of RAID 0, 1, and JBOD, 4 DDR DIMM dual-channel DIMM slots with support up to 800 MHz memory, Realtek ALC 888 8-channel codec, a Marble Gigabit LAN port, 3 PCI slots, 3 PCI Express x1 slots, and 1 PCI Express x16 slot. The layout of the board is well done, although it's not perfect. One annoying issue is the location of the 12-volt plug right above the CPU socket. With Intel stock cooler, plugging the cable into this is not an issue. However, with many aftermarket coolers becoming larger and consuming more space, they tend to overrun the plug, making it difficult to connect the cable once the heatsink is mounted. Also, if you have a larger case, running an ATA cable from your CD or DVD drive to the single ATA port is going to require a cable longer than 18 inches. The DS3 has a very robust set of overclocking options for those enthusiasts who absolutely have to scrape every last inch of performance out of their system. If you go into the Motherboard Intelligent Tweaker menu, you are greeted with a host of performance adjustable options. You can change the CPU multiplier, frontside bus, and the PCI Express frequency, as well as CPU, memory, PCI Express, and chipset voltages. By default, advanced memory speed options are hidden, and all you can adjust is the memory multiplier from 2 to 4, or choose one of 2 different preset memory speed options. To access the advanced memory timing settings, you have to hit Ctrl F1 at the main BIOS screen. From there, go back into Motherboard Intelligent Tweaker, and you will see just how customizable Gigabyte has made the BIOS. Voltage is adjustable in single increments for memory up to an additional +7 volts, and up to an additional +3 volts for the PCI Express and chipset. CPU voltage is adjustable in 625 thousandths of a volt, all the way up to 2 volts. Aside from a few layout issues, the DS3 has many great features any enthusiast will be glad to have. Multiple BIOS options, RAID, 8-channel onboard audio support, and solid-state capacitors make the DS3 a solid choice for performance enthusiasts. The Gigabyte 7600 GT has dual DVI, TV out via a breakout box, and 256 MB of DDR3 memory. The core is clocked at 560 MHz with memory speeds at 700 MHz. It also has full support for HDCP and HD decoding thanks to NVIDIA's Pure Video HD standard. Gigabyte 7600 GT uses their unique Silent Heat Pipe 2 cooler instead of a standard heatsink and fan. With its exceptionally silent cooling solution, the 7600 is quiet and won't add any additional noise to a full system, even under heavy load. Be warned, however, that due to its larger than normal cooler, the 7600 will use up to 2 PCI Express slots. Thermaltake has become renowned for its cooling products, especially the Blue Orb series of CPU coolers. Now comes the Blue Orb 2. Utilizing a 140 fin aluminum heatsink on a copper base, the Blue Orb 2 is designed for maximum airflow with minimal noise. It uses a 120mm fan for active cooling that maxes out at 1700 RPMs. Thermaltake boasts a sound rating of 17 decibels under full load. The fan is surprisingly quiet for its size and speed. The heatsink itself is quite massive, as you can see in the side-by-side comparison between the Blue Orb 2 and the stock Intel heatsink. In fact, when installed onto the DS3, the Blue Orb 2 takes up nearly the entire top left corner of the motherboard. The Thermaltake Tough Power 850 watt power supply features a modular cabling system, 4 independent 12-volt rails for a combined rating of 62 amps, and an efficiency rating of up to 87%. You'll find the 24-pin mainboard connector and one 6-pin PCI Express connectors hardwired to the unit itself, but every other connector uses the modular design. That includes one 12-volt connector with both 4-pin and 8-pin plugs, 2 serial ATA connectors with 4 plugs on each cable, a second 6-pin PCI Express connector, and 2 cables with 4 Molex connectors and 1 floppy plug each. The Tough Power 850 also includes a vibration pad to be installed between the power supply and the case to cut down on vibrating noise. The Corsair Dominator series of memory modules is known for its overclockability, as well as excellent cooling solutions. Corsair continues this tradition with the Dominator series twin 8500 DDR2 modules. While the Dominators are SPD programmed to run at 800 MHz, they are fully capable of running at 1066 MHz in dual channel. Memory timings at 800 MHz are 55518, but have been tested at 1066 at 55515 at 2.2 volts. The Dominators use a dual heat path exchange for cooling that allows heat to escape off the chips through the fins at the top. An optional add-on fan that clips onto the RAM modules promises to cool the chips even further, allowing you to overclock at higher voltage without fear of burning up your RAM. And now we come to the heart of the beast, the Intel Core2 Duo Extreme processor. The Extreme Core 2 is built around Intel's 65nm fabrication process and features a stock clock of 2.93 GHz with a front-side bus of 1066 MHz. It also has 4 MB of level 2 cache and 32 KB of level 1 cache for each core. While it shares many of the same specifications as a standard Core 2 Duo, the Extreme Edition has 2 major differences: faster stock speed and an unlocked multiplier. Having an unlocked multiplier will help to ensure you can find the best combination of bus and memory speed and overclock the CPU to its highest potential. In the second part of the video challenge, I'll be showing you just how to utilize this critical feature to maximize performance and get the absolute most bang for your buck out of this already fast processor.